Brightest blessings, everyone. Psychic medium Elizabeth Grove, the Paranormal Priestess. Welcome to the Paranormal Priestess YouTube channel, and thank you so much for joining me here. And if you're new, thank you for stopping by. My name is Elizabeth. I am a quantum communicator, healer, and clearer, helping people with their spiritual awakening journeys, their ascension journeys, their twin flame journeys, and it's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you for subscribing. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not, and hit the notification bell for all so that way you don't miss anything. So let's talk about what the Lion's Gate is bringing in for us. The last video we talked about the Lion's Gate. This video is going to be more focused on the light codes, what's being brought in, what we're going to be reaping as far as the harvest of the Lion's Gate. And we already know from experiencing other Lion's Gates that it's so much about bringing in divine power, aligning with our true power, releasing distorted power, and also aligning with abundance, infinite abundance. But this one was very, very heart-centered, and a lot of people may or may not realize that when you have an open heart and that energy is flowing and you are aligned with love, that is the key to infinite abundance. So if you are finding that you are stuck, you're trying to manifest, there are things that you really desire to experience, but you don't seem to be getting anywhere, then it's really going to be very beneficial to take a look at what is going on within your heart chakra. What's going on with how are you connecting with love? How are you connecting with your emotions? This Lion's Gate was really asking for us to dissolve those cords to those lower timelines, to those lower people, to clear out those false narratives, false stories, release the program, release all that mental, emotional, and psychic residue from the past, from the matrix. So that way we can, of course, align with our power, but we can be able to open up that heart and allow that divine love to flow through us, right? We're the conduit. We're the conduits for that divine love. We are that extension of love. And within that love, there is no lack. There is no lack, right? And as soon as we go into those stories, we go into that programming of I am without, right? I am without worth, I am without value, I am undeserving, I am without prosperity, I am without health, so on and so forth. As soon as we fall into that lack, that is the separation itself. And it's all an illusion. We have everything available to us. And the Lion's Gate codes opening up to help us move forward now. After Mercury retrograde has gone direct and we go through that post period, it's bringing in a new beginning so that we can align higher. We can drop into that heart space, open it up, and really be able to manifest from a higher state. It's beautiful. And I want you to remember that love is the foundation and the fountain of all abundance. It truly is. They can't be separated. Nothing could be separated. So clearing out those cords from the past are going to be really helpful, and becoming very observant, being the watcher of what comes up. And I always urge you to please, please, please try your very best, as hard as it is, to connect with whatever comes up to the surface. Now, we have been going through a lot of ascension symptoms with the Lion's Gate. We've been going through migraines and headaches and dizziness and things with the eyes and the spine and the heart palpitations and fluttering and all of these different things. The physical vessel very much holds on to energies. The cells remember. The pain body is real. So the more that you can observe and connect with your body, connect with your emotions, and allow these things to have a voice, you'll be in a much better position. The more that we resist, we're kept stuck. We're kept stuck. The more that we reject our own emotional worlds, that is going to keep us stuck. That's going to keep us in more of that lack. Right? I mean, that separation illusion. Feel those emotions out, allow them to come up, be the watcher of your thoughts, observing your emotions, be present with them, allow them to transmute. This is going to help you. The old judgments of self, right? The old self blames and shame and guilt and these stories that we go through, these not good enough stories, or I won't be safe, or I'm only going to get hurt again, or I need to close myself off and shut myself off from feeling or numb it, because it's going to keep me safer, or I'm going to engage in this activity or that activity to help to distract myself from my emotional world. These are the things that keep us stuck. These are the illusions. These are the things that perpetuate. This is the trauma from the past. And it goes back many, many lifetimes we've had trauma. We haven't just had child wounds, for example. In this lifetime, we can have child wounds going back from other lifetimes. We can feel unsafe on Earth from the Matrix there, but there has been feelings of unsafety and shock trauma and things that we've experienced even during galactic wars. So there's so much to unpackage, right? To open that up. And it's very scary and it's very uncomfortable to do, but the more that you're able to connect with yourself and be compassionate with yourself and allow yourself to feel, the better. And feeling is not safe for a lot of people. For a lot of people, feeling is just going out on a limb. It's terrifying. Expressing oneself can feel terrifying as well. And it just doesn't, the comfort level is not there because of past experiences. So these things aren't easy. And then there are also others who have looked outside of themselves for validation, have looked outside of themselves to have someone or something fill a void instead of really healing the inner world and creating that wholeness. Again, all because of trauma. So the light codes coming in are really going to help to disconnect from that lower paradigm and to address the traumas that have been there, the layers and levels of it. Yes, it's frustrating to go through it so many times. Oh my gosh, I've done this already, I've already healed this, why is this coming up again? It's not that there's anything that's wrong, it's all orchestrated, it truly is. It's just that we're finishing up those layers and those levels. So the more that you can participate in the process, it will be to your benefit, okay? Because when you feel disempowered, when you are in that narrative that you have lack and that you're not good enough, or that you can't do anything, or that things aren't available to you, or somehow the world is against you, when you're in that, you are cutting yourself off from that fountain, from that infinite abundant fountain that Source wants us to receive. It's a part of us. We are Source, right? The higher heart activation happening very, very strongly too. I know I have been feeling tons of heart openings, tons of movement in my heart space, the fluttering and the palpitations and things. And I was recognizing, whoa, wow, you know, this is opening up for me. And I've had to revisit some of the emotional woundings that I've held on to. It seemed to go by really quickly, but I've had my own, layers and levels that have come up, and I'm sure you have too. The higher heart chakra is the connection to the divine, to really feel that divine love. It's embodying that higher dimension of love. A lot of people report, this is very common, oh my gosh, I feel very disconnected from Source. I actually don't feel Source. Maybe my journey's over, or maybe I'm doing something wrong, or maybe my abilities just vanished or something, or what's happening here. There actually isn't anything wrong. This often happens too with twin flame counterparts, where all of a sudden you just won't feel each other. Why? It has to do with the heart being blocked, being in that density, more for it to address. Twin flames, for an example, they feel each other through the heart. That's the heart. They share the same heart space. right? But this is very, very common, and it's definitely a signal that there is more that is blocking you from you aligning and dropping into that heart space and becoming the love. A lot of people have difficulty with being able to truly express love, right? There is that numbing effect, that closed off kind of effect. And it's really important that we're able to give ourselves the time and space to be able to revisit whatever those stories and beliefs and judgments and programming, whatever that is, so that way we can experience and feel a full range of emotion. Always keep in mind that with all of this, it's about safety. A lot of people don't feel safe expressing love, being open to love. It's a very vulnerable thing. And when you've had trauma from the past happen, right, it gets you jaded, right? And you think, oh my gosh, I don't want to get hurt all over again, so I'm going to just wall myself off or numb myself or, take on a coping mechanism, and that will keep me safe. In truth, it doesn't keep you safe. It keeps you very stuck. It keeps you in lack, right? In lack consciousness. It cuts you off from infinite abundance. And so in truth, it doesn't really keep you safe. There's just that, illusion that it does. So whatever you can do to be able to give yourself the time and space, as uncomfortable it is to feel it, it's going to be better. For others, they have tried to fill voids, right? They've been trying to fill voids, or maybe people have gone into codependency because they felt like they needed to have that outside example of feeling good within itself, feeling that worthiness and that value and that strength. And even with the twin flame counterpart, there's people that have had very, I guess we'll just say it this way, unhealthy kind of attachment. And I have to say, with the twin flame type of situation, and even if it's not just a twin flame situation, even if it's wanting to have a high level type of partnership, the more that you need that physical partnership, the more that you need to experience that for divine love. It's very much an ironic thing or a paradoxal type thing. The whole thing is that you are not separated from love. You don't need that physical validation for it. And hence, when you in truth don't need it, you're not coming from a shadow need, it shows up. It shows up. So the light codes that are coming in are really helping us to know the truth about love, and to align with our truest self, to align with our authentic power, to be able to open and be vulnerable and safe at the same time, to be able to open that heart and to really express who you are, to allow for yourself to have those beautiful exchanges. And it's so worth it. A lot of work, yes, but very much worth it. So give yourself permission now with these new light codes to be with yourself and to know that there's nothing wrong in your journey if things manifesting wise have been slow or it's felt stuck. It's just a timing factor, and that timing factor has to do with the fact that there are more wounds to address, there's more emotions to connect with, there's more for you to be with, so that way you can shift and come into this higher state where then that new beginning can finally unfold physically, and that new beginning is coming in. There's no doubt about it. So don't give up on yourself, and know that this gateway and its light codes is paving the way for something that is so incredibly beautiful and different, and that you don't have to be attached to that old paradigm any longer. It's bringing in this whole brand new quantum reality, and it's very exciting. So I hope that this video helped you, and if you need any type of help on your journey, I'm here for all of it. theparanormalpriestess.com, and remember, from the heart of the darkness is born the light. Brightest blessings, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.